What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here at GSD Mode Studios, and I'm here with another weekly real estate tip video. And today, this actually topic came from one of our viewers, so I appreciate you submitting the question. But the question is, hey, how do I start working with iBuyers and hedge funds to grow my real estate business? And this has been a big portion of my business for so many years. iBuyers are something newer to our industry within the last couple of years, but really iBuyers is just a hedge fund that's adapted really well to the real estate market, right? They've just evolved very effectively. But for the last, I would say, decade or so, my real estate business, this has been a big portion of my business, working with these large institutions to go out there and support and grow my business in addition to traditional buyers and sellers, right? But real quick, before I get into today's topic and this content and walk you through what I've done to land every single iBuyer and every single hedge fund client or any REO client, any kind of institutional client, this applies to all of those. Make sure you guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you hit that bell next to the subscribe button so then you get alerted every time I release one of these new tips so you don't miss out on this content. If you are listening to this anywhere audio-wise on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you're at, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and review, and you guys make sure to share this content if you find it effective. If you don't find it effective, you think this show sucks, then okay, I apologize to let you down. Just peace out, do your thing. I understand you don't want to share it. But if you get value out of this, make sure to share it, man. There's other people that can get value out of this. It helps us also grow the show. It's how you can support us. Also, make sure you guys check out my free online, in-depth 3-hour masterclass where I'm going through everything I've learned in my 15-plus year-long career, the top lessons that I've learned, everything I'm doing in my real estate business as of now, as of today, give you all the tools and resources that you need to have success during the training, plus everything that you need to be able to implement everything that you just learned after the training, give you all the guides, the instructions, the directions, all 100% free, and that's at growmyrealestatebusiness.com. All right, so again, you guys, here to talk about how to gain iBuyer and hedge fund clients, institutional clients, right? So, and don't just limit this to just iBuyers and hedge funds, because this can also apply to REO and different things. I'll give you a few different examples here. Now, the number one thing, and this really applies to all lead generation, right? And let me just actually kind of take a step back here because this is really important. I just thought of this. It's all the same shit. At the end of the day, guys, this applies to everybody, right? Me to land an iBuyer or to land an REO account or to land a hedge fund, a large investor account, or to get a traditional, somebody that's looking to buy a house or sell a house. It's all really the same process at the end of the day. And you got to understand this, right? So this applies to everything. It's really important. All right, so the first thing is you always got to lead with value. Right? Don't be thinking about how am I going to get business from them? How am I, you got to give to receive, man. So you'll always want to be leading with value. That's number one. Number two, you got to understand that all sales, 100% all sales is all about pain and pleasure. At the end of the day, the person that you are talking to, that's maybe your contact with the iBuyer, whether it's Open Door, whomever it may be, contact with the hedge fund, contact with an REO, asset management company, they're human beings, right? So they're all people, just like a buyer seller. It's all just people. There's I even get sick and tired of hearing all the leads and right. It's just human beings that you're going out there to try to serve and support and help solve their problems. So pain and pleasure when it comes to sales, right? Your job in any kind of sales industry that you're in. Now this is a real estate tip, so I'm going to keep it specific to that, but this applies to anything. Is to identify the pain that they are having, right, and then by solving that pain, you take them to pleasure, right? So when you think of pain and pleasure, it's like they have a problem, a pain that they're experiencing, right? And they want to get to the pleasure, aka the solution to the problem. So you want to tap into that and you want to be able to identify that. So if I look at iBuyers or hedge funds, right, what's their pain? Man, they need more properties. And they may not. They may have a surplus of properties and aren't buying in your marketplace, whatever, but they're going to pack up shop and bounce out or just aren't going to be actively buying. But for most iBuyers out there right now, or at least in my marketplace, they're like 50 to 60% of goal of properties that they're acquiring. So they need a shit ton more properties, right? So then when I understand that and I know that, okay, hey, how I can lead with value, how I can show them and prove to them, because this is the thing, you guys, you want to prove to them that you are a reliable asset. As a real estate agent, you guys, we are a guide. So you don't think of yourself as a salesperson, don't think of yourself as a real estate agent, think of yourself as a guide. You are a guide that helps guide and facilitate a process of helping your clients accomplish their goals, which is to go from pain to pleasure. That's all it is, right? Like you don't own the property, you're not building the property, it's not your inventory, right? Like think of really at the end of the day, we're like let's just say a divorce attorney. I know we're not out there hopefully creating divorces, but like the divorce attorney didn't create the divorce. The couple created the divorce. They need the divorce attorney though to facilitate the experience to make the divorce become a reality for them. Right? So, it's kind of a different way of thinking of a guide, right? But I used to be a personal trainer. And I was like, dude, like I didn't own the gym, didn't own the equipment. It wasn't my body I was training. Like it was my client's body, right? My job was to be their guide, to guide them, help them with their nutrition plan, help them with their workout regimen, right? And help them experience the goals at the end of the day. But I was the guide, right? They're the heroes of the story. Like I'm just the dude that's there to help them get from pain to pleasure. And it's the same thing when it comes to our real estate business, right? But you want to, in order to articulate that you're a guide, like you gotta lead with value, and you gotta prove that you're an asset to them, meaning you gotta prove that you're the best qualified guide for the job, right? So let's go back to solving their problems with an iBuyers an example. iBuyers and hedge funds, this is the same approach. And then I'll give you an example of how I got a lot of my REO accounts. So with iBuyers, they need properties. Okay, so number one, I'm going to start sending them my properties. So I'm going to get a contact, whatever, just go online, go on their website. You're going to find a contact. You might have to show up there, knock on their door, whatever, and just tell them, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I've got properties I want to send you. And want to try to get you guys some deals, right? Who would I send those deals to? So every listing, like one thing I do in my real estate team right now is every home that we are getting ready to list, we send to, whether it's our iBuyer institutions or hedge fund clients, we send them before they hit the marketplace. We send them to them. We get most of these companies now are spitting out offers within hours. So we have a cash offer. Now, most of the time it's not going to work out. It's like 12% of the offers that get received are acceptable by our sellers or the clients, right? Or they end up even happening. So the vast majority aren't going to happen. But you send them enough volume, things do. But no matter what, now I'm sending them properties. Right? I'm sending them as many listings as I possibly can. And if you don't have listings, right? Or in this also, you guys, let me take a step back here. This is also great a value add for you as a listing agent. So when I go into a listing presentation now, I'm able to present multiple options, right? Like, okay, here is an estimated net sheet, and here's what their situation would look like if you put your home on the open market and got market value for your house, like sold it traditionally, right? Okay, well, here is an iBuyer option, right? Like here's an immediate buyout option, guaranteed price. Like here's this option. It's going to be less of a dollar amount. Let's just say this one, hypothetically is $20,000 less. Right? But a lot of real estate agents get caught up on this when I'm talking to them. They're like, well, why the hell would anybody want to sell for 20 grand less? Right? Number one, that's your belief system, right? That's what you're attached to. That means that you can't fathom it because that's not how you would roll, right? That's something that you wouldn't do. But you're not you're not in the same situation and shoes that everybody else is in, right? Like if I had to sell my house right now, my personal residence that I'm living in right now, right? So I've got a family of 5 living in that house. So 3 young kids. My house always looks like friggin' Disneyland. I've got a 6-year-old, 10-year-old, and 11-year-old at the house. We have 2 dogs. My oldest dog is 15 years old and bad arthritis. He has a very difficult time getting around, moving around. He's kind of in those last stages, right? Dude, it would be so hard for me to get my house show ready, keep it show ready, and have that disruption with my dog and my family, whatever. So if I had an iBuyer come to me and say, hey, I'll give you 20 grand less, if I needed to sell, I'm not looking to sell obviously right now, but if I needed to relocate or whatever and had a demand to sell, I would take that 20 grand less in a heartbeat than have to put myself through that convenience and with my animals, everything through that convenience factor and get like 20 grand just isn't that much money to me versus the convenience factor, right? So there's people out there that, and again, it's roughly, if you look at like the iBuyer offers that get accepted from their stats and numbers, in most markets, it's going to be between 10 and 15%, or I'm sorry, 10 and 20%. So that means 80 to 90% of homeowners are saying, no, I don't want that option. I want to sell my house on the open market and get most money. But what does the consumer really want? They want options, dude. So you're the guy now, or guy or girl presenting options to them. You're the real estate agents giving them options where your competitors only have one play. Right? And then the cool thing is too is, let's just say we put the home on the market, we start testing the market, and the market, there's just demand's not there. It's like, okay, well, we always got this as a backup, right? So it helps you grow your business by having these relationships too, because you're able to offer them options. Now, another thing that you can start doing, and this is something I did back in the day with my hedge fund clients, because I wasn't able to, with the big institutions at the time, I wasn't able to get in as like an in-house agent with them. Right? However, though, they're like, hey, anything that you bring us that's not on the market, it's fair game. You can represent us, right? So I started with my own listings, but then I was like, well, how can I leverage this? How can I leverage other agents' listings? So I started going to all the other real estate agents that I knew in the marketplace and was like, hey, look, if you have any deals before they hit the marketplace, send it to me. Like, you got the listing, but before it goes on the market, send it to me. Send me the photos. Send me all the basic information. I will get you a cash offer on that deal. And if it gets accepted, like, I'll give you a 50% referral fee of my commission. So let's just say, it was a 6% commission. They would then, instead of listing on the open market and 3 and 3, if they were splitting it, right, they would get 4.5, I'd get 1.5. Now, some agents might be like, well, why would you divvy up your commission like that? I want to incentivize the other agent to feed me as many deals as I possibly can, right, to the hedge fund or the iBuyer or whomever. But then also, dude, I'm not doing anything. Hedge funds and iBuyers, like, they got their own inspectors, they got their own everything. Like, all I'm doing is fucking essentially trading emails, right? So I can do this shit while I'm just sitting here eating chips and salsa, having a beer at a restaurant, right? Brought that up because I've done a few deals that way, that way in the past. But it's just ways to grow that and leverage it, right? But then from there, you're going to start seeing other opportunities, maybe. Right? Not always, but maybe. Maybe they see that you're such an asset, that you're leading with value, that you are valuable to them, and they want to start giving you other opportunities. Like, as an example, we have a local iBuyer here that one of my agents is doing about 5 deals a month on average for. Right? They don't have enough in-house agents to write these deals. So they're essentially saying, hey, we got a qualified buyer that wants to buy one of our houses. We just don't have anybody that can write up the contract. Can you write up the contract? Right? And he gets a chunk of the commission, and he just spoon-fed these, 5 deals a month, man, just able to write these deals. But because he was able to bring them a lot of deals and show that he was of value and show that he was an asset, he becomes a trustworthy, a partner, right? If you want to call it that way. He's not working for them. He's, within my company. But that's how these relationships can just really blossom. Now, when I was getting when the market crashed, and I was trying to get in with a lot of REO accounts, and I had a lot of success. I've gone with 35 banks over that time, right? And you guys got to always think about this. Like, my mind is always, the way I've trained my mindset is, there's no such thing as a good or bad market. That doesn't exist, right? It's always, the market's always good for somebody. So my job as a real estate agent is to identify whom is the market good for right now. And to identify whom it's good for, okay, then again, pain and pleasure, right? So when the market crashed, it's like, dude, all these foreclosures started happening, asset managers and banks, it became, at least here in Phoenix, Arizona, the majority of the business out there. Why to identify the asset managers' pains? Well, they can't get a hold of their agent. They need something and just can't get a hold of their agent. So I started buying lists, just emailing all these asset managers. And it took me 6 months to land my first account, but it was like every Friday. Right? I'd email every asset manager that I had a contact for, and was just like, hey, happy Friday, hope you have a great weekend. Just so you know, I'm around and working all weekend long if you need anything. And you don't need to compensate me for it. I'm just happy to help and just prove my value to you. So if you need anything, I can't get a hold of an agent. If there's anything that you need, I'm your guy. Right? So I just kept doing that every weekend and then every holiday. Hey, just wanted to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, just so you know. Right? I'm around, I'm available. If you need anything, even if it's Christmas morning, you can't get a hold of somebody, like, I'm your guy. Every single Friday and every single holiday for 6 months straight, just peppering those messages like that, right? Number one, that showed that I was reliable and consistent and I wasn't going anywhere, right? But I knew that somebody was going to slip up at some point, and they did. They couldn't get a hold of an agent, right? They needed an eviction notice posted. Next thing I know, they need somebody to go do a BPO. Next, right? And I started slowly proving myself as a valuable asset, not asking for anything from them, just for an opportunity for me to do free work for them to prove to them that I am of value to them. Remember, the valuable guide to get them from pain to pleasure, right? Then after, several of those back and forth interactions, they're like, shit, man. Like, law of reciprocity is one of the most powerful laws of influence that exist out there, right? They're going to start feeling guilty that they need to feed me deals, right? So then, boom, I started getting fed deals, and then that turns into freaking 90 deals a month, right? Over time. So this is, you guys, my approach. I'm sure there's other approaches out there that other top agents do that have these types of clients, but this is what I've done. Right? And this is the same thing I do with buyers and sellers. It doesn't matter if it's a buyer, seller, an institution. It's the same overall framework for everybody that I'm going to go out there and work with. I never try to get anything out of anybody, any relationship, or even any mentor. Right? I'm trying to, how can I help them? How can I lead with value first? How can I impact their life first? Because I know that if I impact their life, and if and when they have a need for my services, bam, there's a very high chance that they're going to think of me and give me that business. So anyway, guys, I hope that you found this helpful. Again, if you really enjoyed this content and you want more in-depth content on this and want to be able to see the back-end systems of my team, everything that I'm doing now today inside my business, how we go out there and sell $150 million a year of real estate, myself and my team, and want to see the operations of one of the top real estate teams on the planet, check out growmyrealestatebusiness.com. I'm hosting right now a 3-hour-long in-depth masterclass where I walk you through all of these things. Top lessons learned in my 15-year career, all the systems I use. I show you our CRM setup, the things that we track, walk you through all of our lead generation strategies, all of that. And I give you everything that you need to have success while you're on the training, plus I give you all the guides, instructions, directions, everything that you need for post-training, so now you can go out there and implement everything that you just learned. So make sure to check us out at growmyrealestatebusiness.com. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep kicking ass out there, and I will see you next time. Peace.